Hey guys, how you doing? This is Gizmo. Want to go over a quick thing I'm working on. A little bit of a region controller, not like the game map regions normally you would think about. It's just a think of a bounding box that players can go in and out of using the views, using a search rect as one of our things instead of like the circle radius that's generally used. And you can define the size of that rect. The server will complain if it gets a little bit big. I'm just using it right now to cover the Britain graveyard as a test here. And so the whole point of this is, well, first of all, I'd like players to know when and they are entering like certain areas. So when we go to enter Brit, you can see immediately right here, it appears Britain graveyard, and if I leave this little bounding box, you'll see it go. See, now it's no longer there. So that's okay for players. Now, for me, I want a little bit more access to what's going on in this graveyard without having to run around in it. So I created an object called a region controller. I made this in LOA 4 years ago, maybe three. I don't know, it's been a while. But I dug it out, repurposed it, cut a lot out as I'm rebuilding it. I kind of like the way this is looking. I will get a little bit more into it, but let's see here. You can see the tooltip down there. It tells what table key it's using for the information, and then a little brief description. But if we go ahead and just double click this, we're going to bring up the region controller user interface here. And this top table here, this is a scroll view. It does show all the monsters right now that are in the graveyard, and right here is a list of all the players. So if you want to just see if I was to leave this region here, okay, and I just go ahead and open up this again, now I'm gone. I'm not on that list anymore. And then we'll just go ahead and there I am again, right? All players will appear on this list. And if I want to see the life totals of said monsters and things, right, you can see how if they're not close enough, it works the same way as the status bar, right? So if I want to find these guys, it's really simple. I will add like individual buttons, maybe stretch this UI out a bit. But if I just click the skeleton, I'm going to teleport to him, right? And you can see that I can start going through all the monsters here on the list as I click right down through each one of them, okay? So that's pretty simple. It's a neat little tool. You can teleport to yourself, but it doesn't do anything. But any player that populates on this list will be the same. And then lastly, I'm going to start working on the objects controller, okay? And there'll be a list for that as well. And like if I threw a sword down on the ground, yeah. And you can see right up here on top, it tells us the number of objects in the view. Right now there are 12, and that's including the monsters and me. So if I was to go ahead and leave this view and refresh it, it goes down to 11. Okay? And, it still works. Doesn't matter where you're going. You can click the monsters and bounce around. And so this really didn't take a whole bunch of code. Right here's my region controller. This is what a current view table looks like. Just showing people kind of like the background. If you want to use Lua, you want to use tables, right? Tables are your friend. Learn tables, love them, whatever. But basically, right here is my search rect for the Britain right here. Right here. Here's the one that I made. Same as a test one up there, basically. But again, it's got like the search rectangle. Here's a box 2D with all the coordinates. How frequently do I want the view to update and check, all the objects and keep track of them? And that's at the bare minimum. You can have entering messages and leave messages. So if I wanted to, I could say entering graveyard, and we'll say you are spooked and run away. Alright, so if I wanted just like an example of why you can be able to do this and make every exit and enter if you want two messages, this is what it will do. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the region controller real quick, and I have to run the info command on it so that I can go ahead and reload that script change that I just did there. I could type it in manually, but I just like leaving this open so I can like quickly test this stuff. Alright, so now if I leave here, You are spooked and run away. Entering brick graveyard. So you can go ahead and enable and disable messages like that through the tables. If you want, leave them blank. Doesn't matter. And then let's see. Here's a tooltip that generates the basic information that I put over when I target my thing up there. And then I go ahead and I've got the get wrecked from center. If I wanted to, I could just force a spawner. From the spawner, it'll make a width and height and make the spawner in the center. So if I say like it's 5 and 5, it'll be 5 up, 5 left, 5 right, 5 down, a bounding box with that thing in the center. So in case you just wanted to do it that way as well, that's always an optional function. And then I have the handling for the register events and things like that, and it's pretty simple. When the player double clicks that spawner, it knows to send a message saying edit region, and it's going to fire this function right here. And this one says open the control window for the player because it's passing the player object, and I generate the UI right here in the open. Okay. So, I mean, it's a little bit of work in progress. I probably shouldn't go over all this. It's really a bit more advanced than a basic tutorial. So that's why I'm just making it a regular video to yak about. And it's already getting kind of long, but yeah. So what is the purpose of something like this, you might ask? And it's very simple. Right now that I can take control of a region, that means that if I put 2 people in it, if one dies, this thing can check it, but I'm not going to do it that way. So when a player dies, it'll check, am I in a region? Is that region a PvP region? If so, ship me out. The minute I get shipped out, or the minute that I log out, this controller goes, yeah, we have a winner. Right? Because there's only one person left. So that's a really easy way to handle that. So how do we get players here? I use my NPC like I was making earlier. That's why I designed the nodes and everything like that. So when I click a button saying I'm ready to duel, it'll ship me right to a queue. Queue gets 2 people, ships them to one of these areas. Hence, you see what's going on. I can make my little battle arenas, and it means that if I just want to throw 5 monsters in and give it the rule, if like there's a monster team and a player team, and if there are only players left, I guess the players won, right? And if there's only monsters left, then I guess the monsters won, right? So yeah, it's pretty simple to do those checks and things like that. So I could make battle arenas, I could make little PvP games, or I could make a little area where I could ship you to, and you could do a whole bunch of combat and clear the dungeon, things like that. Yeah, so I'm progressively working towards that type of game. And yeah, this is just the progress on why I made this and what I plan on using with the with it and things like that. So again, thanks for watching this video, and I'm going to get back to breaking more stuff in this game. Thanks for watching.